We are Cactus Wrestling. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Cactus Wrestling is now available on Spotify and Amazon. And don't forget to check us out on Etsy for all of your Cactus Wrestling apparel needs.
Welcome back to Cactus Wrestling. Today we got a fun little twist on things with Final X right around the corner. We were starting to think, what could Team USA look like had some of these other potential contenders if, in another universe or so to speak, things aligned a little differently if they were in competing for the spot, how they would fare if they would be a upgrade, downgrade to Team USA if they were to compete. So as we know, at 57 kilograms, it's Spencer Leon, Luke Lilladall, and we are going to see who we added here. Um, what if RBY was competing for Team USA instead of Team Mexico? How do you think he would fare? What do you guys think?
I think it's a fun one. Um, RBY has a very unique style, and we've kind of talked about this off camera, is that he does seem to be getting better in his freestyle wrestling. He had a big win the other day, actually, against oh gosh.
The Mongolian? Or
No, he
no,
lost. It was
The
it
guy
was
that's ranked second in the world.
yes, it was
yeah.
at the Mongolian ranking series,
Because then
but
he
he
lost
did
after
lose
that.
to the Mongolian.
Yeah.
Um, he beat what was it, Sahawart from
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had some
Sarah, is
tricky
it
moves in
Sarah?
that match, but I think overall obviously I don't see him beating Spencer Lee.
Oh, so I don't know
I
if I
just
see
don't
him
see
beating
it.
Luke Lilladall either in freestyle.
Yeah.
Really? You think?
Well, Luke's got Flo has Luke ranked pretty high actually. Um, he's number 5 in their world rankings,
In their world rankings, really?
for senior
Wow.
level.
Really?
They got
Yeah.
RBY at.
RBY is 14.
Wow. So they think that, okay,
Well,
interesting, interesting.
Luke has beaten some pretty talented guys internationally at the U20 level. I You guys might remember we talked about it last year, and I was like, hey, like this is a big win for him in the semis and the finals, because those guys went on to have senior level success early on.
But you guys were doubting me that he'd win a match, right? Doubting me in Final X
I
that he'd
still
win a
think
match.
Spencer's still tough. In fairness, Flo has Spencer as the number 1 and Luke as the number 5, and it's a pretty big gap between those two. Um,
Yeah,
where I do still think Spencer's going to win 2 matches, but I do still believe Luke can be competitive with him. And I think that he's probably the future of the weight.
So back to RBY. Do you think if, say, RBY was in the mix, do you think he beats Luke Lilladall?
I do in a best 2 out of 3 or just one match.
Let's go with one match.
I think RBY wins.
I think there's a chance for him to win.
Okay. So you think there's a
I would say for argument's sake, I would say that, well, I think there's a chance. I don't think he would beat Luke.
you don't think he'd
Oh
beat?
wow, you don't?
I don't.
Interesting. Interesting.
Do you think he would beat Spencer Lee?
No.
No,
I think that
no
I
chance.
think if we're looking at it like this, he is the number 3 on this team.
I
Wow.
don't see a way either of those like
So, Eamon, where are you putting him? You think he's the number three?
who, Luke, RBY?
Yeah.
If it's like a one match,
If if they were in a three-man round robin, who's taking third?
I would say I'd say I would say Luke Lilladall.
I just think that he's accomplished a ton internationally, and Roman Bravo Young really hasn't.
That is true, but
I
RBY
just think comparing
did win
wrestler
two
to wrestler.
national titles.
I mean, yeah, but he wasn't even an All-American his freshman year, which he hasn't beat there as well.
Yeah,
True.
I think Luke will be better than him. I don't know that he currently is.
I would say he has more senior level success than has a better, has more international success than RBY does already.
All right, I'll say this. In one match, I'll pick RBY, but best 2 out of 3, I gotta go with Luke Lillardall.
All right, we're gonna use this scale of green. We think that our mystery member would win the spot. Yellow is they would beat one of the two guys, and red is they would not beat either of the two guys. Mike is saying RBY would lose to both. Eamon saying would lose to one. I think I'm gonna go with Mike on this one.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's tough. Like, I think the success internationally does point towards Luke Lillardall, though. I mean, it's just a fact. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
RBY like really hasn't wrestled international like freestyle that much.
I think
Luke. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
we'll see how Luke does at U23s because the assumption is that he's not going to win Final X. Therefore, he wouldn't have the senior level spot, but I think he's going to take the U23 spot. And if he wins U23 Worlds, then I think that it would help kind of clarify how he would do um against RBY.
Hmm.
Moving on up. 61. Veto on Jax or Stevan Michik. If
Ooh.
Stevan was,
I
wrestling
guess my first question
not
is,
for Serbia.
yeah, are we talking about the Stevan? It's tough because are we talking about the Stevan pre-surgery and injury, or are we talking about the new Stevan? Because the new
I
Stevan,
mean, you mean the world champ Stevan who won it?
yes,
I mean, actually, that was at 57.
You know who we could have
exactly.
gone with?
Who?
Current Penn State wrestler.
Who?
Oh,
Oh
oh
no.
no, but that,
But he
uh,
can't compete for this team.
I mean,
or can he?
He's not a U.S.
Well, it
who
will he be?
knows anymore? But no, I think Michik's the right choice in this group at least.
Yeah,
Um, I think him at 61 is definitely different than him at 57.
that's true.
I wasn't sure he was going to be able to make 57 and do well at it, especially because we had seen him at like 41.
Well,
And
yeah, that was a disaster. His final
yeah,
season at Michigan.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I
that
was
was a
I
like,
think he was
disaster.
just doing that for the team.
yeah, then to go down so much, it was like,
So honestly, I still think he would beat Jax Forrest.
Well,
um,
again, I don't know. Like, I guess if we're thinking of the world champ, Michich, yeah, he would beat Jax Forrest. I agree.
Jax has looked so good though at 61
Well,
kilo.
He
Mike,
can look so good as he loses to Michik.
Well, that's so Jax did an interview recently where he said, I've only been really wrestling freestyle for 4 years and I still prefer folk style because I enjoy being able to roll across my own back to score points,
Mm.
which would be exposure and freestyle. Because of that, while Jax might be the better wrestler, I think Michik would be savvy enough to say, I have so much more freestyle experience than you. I can beat you at this.
Hmm.
Even though 61 might not be his best weight class, I could see a world where he beats Jax Forrest. Um, but I might have egg on my face if Jax ends up doing pretty dang well against Vito when they wrestle at Fargo.
Oh yeah, that's true. So, do you think Michik beats Vito?
Current Vito, who's like injured and unsure that he's able to wrestle, sure. Vito that won the world championship at 61, no.
well, I
So,
guess like, yeah. Um, this is a tough one.
if they were to wrestle on the day that these two are going to wrestle in a month,
Well, Michik is a complete like unknown. I mean, like,
I mean, he's
if
not a
that were the
complete
case,
unknown.
like, he's been hurt for like so long.
I think that if they were going to wrestle in Fargo because of the delay, I would go with Vito over Michik.
I would confidently put Vito over Michik. Yeah, Eamon.
You guys are making it tough for me here. I think, ha oh. Okay, I'll say this. Pre surgery and all that stuff with Michik, I would have picked him to beat both of these guys. But with that being said, I do think that Vito would beat Michik. Yeah, I agree with you guys.
All right. Moving on up, we got Joey McKenna on Real Woods against who could it be? Who could it? Nick Lee.
Well,
Say.
Although I will note something at 61 kilos, Uguyev out of Russia just recently won 61 gold medal at the Euros. So the whole bumping up thing, I wouldn't take that away from Michik because, like,
Aguyev's also freaking massive.
yeah, he is massive. He is
So,
massive. But Michik is tall though. He's not like a.
yeah.
yeah, I mean he could fill out.
But yeah, with Lee, this one with Lee, I do think that Lee is better than both of these wrestlers.
I agree. I think Nick
He's
Lee,
shown it.
if for whatever reason decided to pull out um of trials or the open, I think it was that he decided to pull out. No, I think it was trials.
Why did he pull out? Does
Good
anyone know?
question. And I don't have the answer for it. Maybe someone that comments does.
Yeah.
But I think that if he wrestled and it
I
was
was
the
a
same,
little surprised to see that he didn't even try for it.
yeah.
What's going on with Penn State testing, they're saying?
I'm not even gonna get into that one again. Um,
Well, why is he pulling out last minute?
I don't know why.
Where's Aaron Brooks?
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
But anyways, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
stats
Lee,
clearly
I think is
show
better
it.
than Woods and McKenna still.
Look at how many times
I
Nick
mean,
Lee
I
is.
think you both already said you think Lee would do better than both of these guys.
Yep.
Well, literally the stat with McKenna and Lee, the stats like are like in Lee's favor.
So we also have a second one because, he's right at the weight. You got Sebastian
Seabass.
Rivera, Seabass.
He would
Oh,
be
this
the
one's
best
tough.
choice for Team USA.
You think?
I think so.
Even more so over Nick Lee.
Didn't he have a head-to-head with him pretty recently?
Yeah, but that was one match, and like I don't know if I'm confident in. Actually, I guess you got to go with Seabass just based on
Going
that.
with him. I mean, hey, look, he's still competing. So
He
He's
is.
I'm
also
giving him
getting world medals, Olympic
Exactly.
medals. Like he's getting medals.
Yeah, I can't pick against Seabass when he's literally getting Olympic medals and world medals.
Yep.
All right,
He's the goat.
Yanni on PJ Duke. And what if Zane the Train Rutherford was in the mix?
I think Zayn beats them both at 70. I think
Same.
Wow,
that's
so
Zayn's ideal weight. He struggled at 65. And we saw that with
I
how
mean, I
close
think
he
he's
wrestled
also
Hernandez.
handled Yanni in the past.
Yeah. And you know, Zayn is, I believe, on the same kind of path that Helen was on with
Yeah.
head issues. And
Unfortunate.
it's
Yeah.
not surprising when you see like, hey, like every single match, Zayn is bleeding from his forehead or his
Yeah,
eye.
it's
Yeah.
insane.
And granted, like, hey, like, oh, well, that's a cut. It's a little bit different. I still got to imagine there's some blunt force trauma to his head every single match.
Well, especially like those Tyler Berger matches.
Yes, where Tyler Berger was trying to basically default him out of the
Yeah.
match.
Yeah.
I think if Zayn's healthy, not concussed, um, and at his ideal weight of 70 kilo, he's even better than both of them.
Yeah, I think also with Zayn, like just looking forward to the Olympic trials coming up in a few years. I do think he's gonna end up going 74, and that'll kind of be his last
Yeah,
tour. I don't see him going down to 65 ever again.
I agree.
But yeah, definitely Zayn. What
All
do you
right.
think?
Moving on up. No, I
Oh, we
agree.
didn't hear your opinion. What do you
I,
He
think?
changed. He made it green pretty quick. He was on the same board.
Okay,
yeah, no, you guys were saying it. I didn't have anything contrary.
cool.
All right, moving up 74. We got Mitch Mesenbrink on David Carr. But what if he hadn't made the switch to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? What? Jason Nolf?
Golf
Yeah,
would
this one I've been saying this for months now. This is like puzzling to me. Out of all the years he chose to do this, because
Yeah.
just some context. I remember a few years ago when Nolf lost to Kyle Dake, he posted something about like transitioning or is like, do I go into jujitsu? And it was kind of a cryptic post because it's like, well, what is he talking about? But he continued wrestling. And then out of all the years he decides to leave, he leaves the year that arguably the guy that's been in his, literally the guy who's been in his way the entire time is no longer there. So for me, it's clear Nelf would have
I
made the
mean,
team.
yeah, I think Nolf would have dominated his way. Like it would have been like hands down, like there's no one touching Nolf. He's finally gonna go get a medal. Like it's finally his time.
It's
Kind of
his
like it
year.
was finally David Taylor and Kyle
Yep.
Dake's time when they weren't able to get past Burrows, and then they were able to find their way onto the lineup. But it's baffling that he's just like I am now jujitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have two theories for
Doesn't
this
make a lot
one.
of sense still.
I have two theories for this. I think either A, he's he did the math or something and determined that he'd be making more money doing what he's doing now, or B, he just does not enjoy wrestling at all. Because
Kind of would find it hard to believe that he does not enjoy wrestling.
exactly. So A makes more sense because like
I
why
don't
would
know that he's making more money though.
well like just logically it's like why wouldn't he be competing anymore like that
Yeah,
like
I mean, there's got to be something that we're not that we don't know, and people have pointed out that like yes, he lives in Texas now, um, he's training, he's kind of moved on to a whole new chapter of his life, um, but to I just don't see it making sense. Like this was the year for him.
yeah I don't
Yeah.
understand. I mean
No,
I
it
know his
really
wife is a
was.
professional soccer player so
By
maybe
all
that
accounts, it
but
doesn't make any sense.
no.
But
Well,
we all agree that Nolf would be better than Mesenbrink or Carr at this weight.
Honestly, I think Nolf would take it in two matches against either one of those guys.
yeah,
Yeah. Moving up, Wick on Haynes. But what if Jordan Burroughs decided
Oh,
to go for the spot?
probably the most confident I feel about any of these
yeah.
that Burrows would win.
Yeah, honestly, I think
I agree with you.
I
Yeah. I
agree.
mean,
Even though, like, he's older, he hasn't made the team in a while. I feel like he would beat Haynes and Wick. Like, I feel like those two guys are not
At his level.
exactly. Yeah, they're not there, or at least not yet. Even with him being older, like I feel like he'd be savvy enough to
I mean,
pull
you saw
off.
the match against Haynes last time. I mean, it wasn't really like
Yeah, it wasn't.
Well, and it's not like he's got Chance Marsteller
no.
to knock him off. So like I feel like he would be there, and then at the world stage, he knows how to get it done better than anybody.
Yeah, he'd probably be medaling again.
So yeah, I think we all agree that Team USA would have benefited from Jordan Burroughs um, had he been competing. I mean, I know he's had a bit of a rough year, but
Yeah, brutal.
um,
Got a ton of kids.
a ton of kids
Yeah.
and the passing of his father. Like I understand mentally that's taking a big toll on you and whatnot. And I mean, it's impressive that he's not retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Did say
impressive.
But
if you guys hadn't heard the interview, he did say like I'm not retired. I'm just taking this year off to kind of like work on some stuff.
I
yeah,
can't wait to see him
so
back.
like just I mean, just to think about it, it's like imagine if things played out a little differently and he did compete. Like he could have been making the team again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
And I'd be a lot more confident in us getting a medal at this weight. But,
Mhm.
you know, I digress.
This is
Moving
gonna
up,
be my
86 kilograms. We got Kyle Dake, Zahid Valencia. And what if your favorite David Taylor hadn't retired and started coaching Oklahoma State?
I don't think he'd make the team.
You don't know. I was gonna say like it's interesting because DT at 86 and DT at 92 were two different people. And I think that he held 86 down so well for so long, but he did like a behind the scenes of his journey to, you know, Final X for the 2024 Olympics. And he kept talking about like his weight cut this time, his weight cut this time. I'm a little heavier than I want to be by this time in my weight cut. I'm a little bit further out than I would like to
Yeah.
have been. And he was doing Epsom salt baths and a lot of sauning, and he kept seeing like, I'm just not getting the weight off like I used to.
Plus, like, look at what Zahid and Aaron Brooks, how close their match was
Hmm.
at trials, and like, and look what happened to
How
Taylor.
close Brooks Taylor wasn't.
Yeah, so like, just based off of that alone, like, well, first of all, yeah, it's just no, I don't think he'd make the team.
Do you think he beats Kyle Dake
At 86,
at 86?
I still think he does.
I definitely think he beats Dake at 86 right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right now, yeah,
Dake is still too small for 86. Like
yeah.
yeah, I think he'd, I think
this
he,
isn't like when Dake came up to 65 and they were both
yeah,
65.
but didn't Dake beat Taylor in like the 2016 Olympic trials?
Yeah, this is
That
10
was
years.
that was also back when they were both down at like 74.
I know, but no, but Taylor had already started to, I don't know. It's
I
so
think that
hard.
if they would have wrestled 86, I agree with you, Mike, that I
Yeah.
think Kyle Dake's too small. In fact, I think we could have seen Kyle Dake at 79 kilo make the world team
Oh
like
yeah.
like
Well,
we've
yeah.
discussed.
Yeah, no, I know
Yeah, I
that would have
still think
been so
that
much
was a
better
mistake
for
for
the
him not to
team.
go down.
Do
But
you,
yeah,
do
I
you
don't,
think David Taylor could have beat Zahid?
no way.
You know what is I'd love to see is like they're practice partners. Zed's coached by Taylor.
Yeah.
I think at this point in his career, he could not beat Zed Valencia.
I think
Yeah,
it's
I
like
don't,
one of those things where Taylor coached Brooks well enough to beat him. He coached Zahid well enough to beat him. I think that Taylor would beat Dake right now, but I don't think he would beat Zahid.
Put him
I
in
just feel like
yellow.
it's so hard to pick against, like, I get like the logic, but like with like Dake, it's just so consistently beating Taylor. Like, it's just like history has shown that like Dake beats Taylor for some reason, no matter what.
I mean, yes, but that's also not Dake giving up a lot of weight.
True,
It's
true.
a big jump.
No, it is a big jump.
Like
I
this
think,
is like Kyle Dake wrestling 141 all season and then going after David Taylor at 165.
yeah, like I
Like
said,
it's that big of a jump.
I said this like time and again. I think that Dake should have gone down to 79. I think he's thinking so much about like the Olympics, but that's still years away, and it's like you're risking a potential medal.
Yeah, it was just, and who knows? Maybe we'll see that Jake wins best two out of three against Zed, and then medals at 86. I don't see either of those things happening. But yeah, this seems like it wasn't the best plan for Kyle Dake. Probably should have
No,
gone 79 this year. Medaled, sat out for 86 kilo, giving himself 2 years to grow into it instead of just trying to do it all at once.
Yeah. All right, moving up, 92 kilograms, Josh Barr, Trent Hidlay. And what if Aaron Brooks was actually competing this year?
Oh, dude, he smashes.
Like Brooks on Barr, who's winning?
Brooks smashes.
Brooks.
Brooks on Hidlay, we haven't seen that play out
Yeah,
enough.
1,000 times.
Yeah. Like what was the reason that he isn't competing? Is it because he was
Supposedly an injury. Hasn't competed since the Olympics,
It's been a
and he
while.
pulled out of the match with Zahid for the flow card.
Mhm.
Um, people speculated an injury. People are also speculating a possible
Doping
doping
violation.
violation where he's just like kind of removing himself from the testing pool for the year. Um, and there's a lot of steroid talk going around the Penn State room
Right.
these days. Let's just say that.
I'm just confused
Yeah.
because like when I've been reading, it seems like it's some sort of like ADHD medicine. So what I don't understand why would maybe I'm just not educated on this enough. Like why would they care if he's on like how does that affect like it's the same thing I'm confused with Zahid. Like why did Zahid get suspended for a year for doing something that clearly has no performance like any benefit to his performance?
USADA is not the best. I will say that. And the World Anti-Doping Agency is same thing.
Yeah.
Not the best. They're definitely better than nothing. Um, but they still have a long way to go.
I don't know. I'm very confused. Like if it really like it doesn't make any sense logically why he would have like why would you avoid a test for ADHD medicine? Like
Yeah, but I guess my still points stands. I think Brooks beats them both.
yeah, no, he's definitely I mean we've seen it play out with Hidley and Barr. I mean, I just don't think Barr would beat him.
All right. Well, we're gonna jump up to 125 kilograms. Wyatt Hendrickson, Trent Hilger, and what if Gable Steveson wasn't a lunatic and hate on wrestling and just decide, why would I go for world medals? Why would I go for Olympic medals when I could lose at NCAAs, when I can fail at being a Buffalo Bill, when I
I
can
could
not be in the WWE?
get almost knocked out by John Jones in sparring.
Like when you got all these things going for you, you know, I mean, granted, Gable wrestles Hilger, I think he smokes him.
I
If
don't think he beats Wyatt.
wrestles Wyatt, I mean,
Not in 2 out of 3. Not with
I,
the way.
I, I
Yeah, no.
I mean, I find Wyatt could win. I don't know that I'm necessarily gonna say it's more likely that Wyatt wins than
Well,
Gable.
how much has Gable been like training? Like that's the stuff with Gable. I don't confident in picking him because like it's just like I just don't think his head is in it, and therefore I gotta pick Wyatt because Gable just doesn't. He seems like he's got one foot out the door the entire time.
So Eamon's got Gable beaten, not Gable. Gable only beating Hilger.
Yeah, for sure beating Hilger. Yeah, I can't.
Okay, Mike, what do you got?
I think that Gable reminds me of one of my favorite movies, A Bronx Tale,
Oh,
where there's a
Oh
quote
my God.
in the movie that's pretty, often, but they say, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And
Yeah, it's a good movie
I
in the
think
book.
that if Gable stuck to wrestling for the last few years and
yeah,
really fully committed to it, we'd be talking about possibly the greatest wrestler in USA history.
Yep.
yeah,
Um, and I don't know if we'll ever see someone like that again.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
so am I basing this off of if Gable did everything right, or am I basing this off of the Gable we see right now?
Got to be the one
Got
we
to go
see.
with the Gable we see right now.
And I said this after Gable lost to Wyatt. I think Gable would beat him in freestyle.
Mm,
And I'm kind of faltering on that because Wyatt has looked so good in freestyle,
yeah, he
much better than I expected. Um, and you know, I thought he won't, he's so big and he's so strong and he stole the win from Gable. But now I'm watching him get gut wrenches, leg laces, and have a great pace and not just against domestic challenges, which quite frankly, USA heavyweight is kind of weak right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like internationally. I mean, he looked great at Pan Am's. He was rolling guys up. Um, do I still think he's ready for like the biggest stage? Um, no. But I also said that a few years ago that I thought Gable didn't compete internationally because he knew that he wasn't that dude anymore.
Mm.
Um,
So
there- I
you're
don't,
picking him to beat Hilger.
yes, but not to beat Wyatt. I think the Gable we saw and the Wyatt we're continuing to see has made jumps even from NCAAs.
Right. Yeah, no, I hear you and I agree with you. I think the Gable of today is not what he.
I don't know. It's just so sad.
Yep.
All right. Well, now we're gonna throw in another heavyweight because he's even more likely to have been in this round of trying to make the world team. Mason Paris, returning world medalist. And does he come back to try to make another world run, world medal run? No, no. Why would he do that? What does he got going on, guys?
It's gonna follow in Adam Kuhn's footsteps.
Trying to play football.
Yes, he's with what, the LA Chargers?
He is doing a Yeah, he's with the LA Chargers. He's in training camp with the LA Chargers. Let's say that.
Yeah, he's not even signed. He's not I, I, like
The Mason
why?
Paris one baffles me the most. Um,
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
so I said this to you guys is that the only reason that the LA Chargers are willing to take a risk on him is because the current Chargers coach is the former Michigan football coach.
Mm,
And
Yeah.
if it wasn't for the Michigan connection, he wouldn't be playing. So people have said, well, he was at least a high school football player and he was being recruited by colleges for football. Because, yeah, he was a two-star athlete in 2017.
Yeah,
right.
it's
You're making it like he's the top linebacker in America and it was this catastrophic miss. He
Hey, he
wasn't
was the
even a
Hodge
top,
Trophy winner, world team, world bronze medalist.
he was a top 20 linebacker in his state as a high schooler.
Mm.
yeah. Also the same thing with Gable with the Bills. Like McDermott is like he's got a big wrestling background.
Yeah,
So, like it's just I don't like I just like Mason Paris thing is just like either he knows something that we don't know, which I doubt, or he's just not learning from what like look at Adam Kuhn.
grass is always greener, but
Like,
again, like Mason Paris, what position are they having him try for in the NFL? Fullback.
Yeah, like
With it's a dead position and he didn't play it. And I have a friend who played football at Michigan as the starting fullback for 3 seasons. He was drafted in the fifth round as a fullback to the Harbaugh's other brother, the Ravens head,
oh I remember yeah.
and he's been bounced around from practice squad to practice squad. And this is a guy that actually played the position
Yeah, he was
that
legit
Mason Paris is trying to play, and he played it as a starter
yeah,
for Michigan for 3 4 years, and was actually drafted. I
what would
think this is the biggest waste of time.
yeah,
How do I
I
think
don't
Mason
know.
Paris would have done? I think he would have beaten Trent Hilger, and I think he would have lost to Wyatt.
You
yeah.
don't
I
think he would
agree.
you
No,
don't think he would have
Mason.
beat
I think
Wyatt?
again. I think these guys are ducking Wyatt, and they're saying, "Oh, I'm gonna try the NFL," because they know that they missed their shot at this point.
I think the only reason that Wyatt might have beaten him is because the same reason he beat Gable is that Paris seems to just have his foot out the door. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. Like I don't know. I don't know what to say really. I'm just like you just can't really comprehend it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, by all accounts, I like Mason Parrish. You could have gone and tried to get another world medal, or you could
Like you
be
really don't have Gable
an NFL
anymore.
player. Like, I feel like there's more glory in
Like
a
it's just
world medal,
confusing.
but
It's like the same thing with like I mean, granted, Nelf's not going for the NFL, but it's like, dude, like Burrows or sorry, Dake is no longer at the weight. Like like what are you doing? Like
yeah, I don't understand it.
Look,
I don't know.
I think it's awesome for Mason Paris to chase his dream. Jason Dolph, maybe his dream is jujitsu as well. That's super cool. And I hope they reach it, but I also think that there's a certain realism that you have to have with this, where Mason Paris was not the wrestler that Gable Steveson was, and Gable Steveson had zero success. Mason Paris is was a football player, and that's cool. But how many top college players don't get drafted and don't make it to the NFL every year?
Yeah.
Mason Paris hasn't been in football pads since 2018.
I
Yeah,
think it sets a bad precedent too for our sport that the fact that the guys at the top of the level are trying to go and do other like it just
Yeah.
shows like kids
Yes.
that are
yeah,
younger that they're like you can't really get anywhere in the sport.
If I was USA Wrestling, I would be like, how can we monetize our sport more where guys don't feel the need to have to try to leave?
Yeah, because it's like
yeah.
desperation mode right now because like we're literally
Well,
losing
I mean,
top players.
fortunately, there are now two professional leagues out there, Claw and
Yeah.
RAF. So there are paid options that
It's awesome.
help facilitate that.
It's
But
it's partially on us as the fans to support these things too, because there's been a few like professional leagues that have come around and people are like, ah, it's whatever, I'm not going to pay attention to it. And then they get mad that wrestling doesn't have the attention they feel it deserves.
Yeah, what happened a couple of years ago? There was one, I forget the name of it.
Yeah,
Amer-
there's been a few of them that have popped up, but then people don't support him, and then they go like, "Oh, wrestling's like the best sport in the world," but like we just nobody wants to watch it. He goes, "Yeah, dude, like you had the chance to support your own boy,
Yeah.
you chose not to."
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, and then rounding it out, we saved this one for last. You got Kyle Snyder, Hayden Zilmer, and you guys may be surprised to see
Like a big yes.
that there's
There's
no
no one.
we. I mean, we did toy with the idea of Jaden Cox, but Mike was quick to point out that Jaden Cox, probably really, if he hadn't retired, would probably be still going for the 92 kilogram spot. Even if he was going for the 97 kilogram spot, there's no way he would beat Kyle Snyder. He's never beaten Kyle
No,
Snyder. I mean, well, not never. He beat him one time, but like
it's
he
just
wouldn't have. So realistically, that way we didn't really have a good alternative that we could come up with that we thought was at the same caliber of the rest of the guys that we were presenting. So we left it at that, in which case it's an automatic red because, well, there's no one there.
yeah,
But
97's
if you
puzzling.
look at this squad here,
Oof.
I mean, it seems like
Could
half the
be a
team
really.
could be better.
Could you imagine a team how we would roll in the worlds with Spencer Lee, Vito Arujau, Sebastian Rivera, Zane Rutherford, Jason Knopf, Jordan Burroughs, Zahid Valencia, Aaron Brooks, Kyle Snyder, and Wyatt Hendrickson?
It'd be insane.
That would be a
Yeah, I mean, you'd
deadly.
be expecting 10 medals.
And
Yeah, that would be
honestly, in
a
an ideal
deadly.
world where Gable's locked in, like even having Gable at heavy like that, like
Yeah, but I think Gable's kind of made his bed, and
yeah,
like I said if he
How many
locked
medals do
that,
you think our current world team, I mean, not, we don't even know the
but
current,
yeah,
how many medals do you think that, like, of the final X 20 there, that we'll actually walk away with? Like, what weights do you think we're going to come away with a medal, regardless of who's there?
57.
7.
57, 65, 61.
I don't know about 65, honestly.
I said my guess 57, 61, 70, 74, 86, 97, 125.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not sure about 86 either, but yeah, actually yeah, 86 too.
No, Zahid's done it before, and Dake,
Yeah.
I mean, Dake has too. So,
Yeah, definitely that I agree with Mike Long. That's what
but
I'd
like,
pick.
yeah, no, like if we had the optimized team that Mike rattled off there, I think we could go 10 for 10.
Probably looking at 10 medals, yeah.
What could have been?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, make sure to comment down below your thoughts on how you think the squad we just pitched would have done. Your any comments that you have if we missed a 97 that you think was deserving of being in there, please, yes, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Also, I mean, none of us really mentioned it, but it's kind of funny that many of the guys we pitched in this alternate universe team are Penn State. I mean, you got RBY, Nick Lee, Zane Rutherford, Jason Nolf,
Yep.
David Taylor, Aaron Brooks. Like, I mean, quite a few of them are Penn State guys, but at the same time, these are the guys that are generally competing and making the squad. So I feel like it's rightfully so at the same time. But as always, thank you for watching Cactus Wrestling.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.